Ahman Green was a standout running back and three-year starter for the University of Nebraska Cornhuskers. He was drafted to the Seattle Seahawks during the 1998 NFL Draft. Ahman was then traded to the Green Bay Packers in 2000, where he soon became the all-time leading rusher in Packer history. He gained more yards from scrimmage and rushing yards than any other NFL player and became one of two players in NFL history to have two touchdown runs of 90 or more yards. We've seen his success on the field. Now we'll take a deeper look into the life of Ahman Green beyond the field. Ahman Green was born in Omaha, Nebraska, but grew up in Los Angeles, California. His dreams of becoming a professional football player were realized at the age of 10 in his fourth grade class.
Fourth grade was interesting. I had a teacher that we butted heads. I'm talking about this old lady that, whatever reason, we beefed against each other. What started the beef was, it was that day in class, everybody pretty much experienced it, where you go onto the board and you write what you want to be when you get older. Fireman, policeman, lawyer, doctor, whatever. So I go put pro football player, And she's like, you're not going to do that. You got to do this and this. You got to stay out of trouble. You got to hit the book. You got to get good grades for college. And I'm like, all right. I said, well, I know I'm going to do it. And she's like, no, you got to put something realistic. And I'm like, basically I was like in my own, what was that, fourth grade, 10-year-old brain. I'm like, well, this how I roll, so you got to deal with it. So from that point on, we had beef. So she didn't see me as a football player. So my first sport experience that I do remember wasn't quite a fun one, but it actually was part of my makeup in terms of how I am, in terms of the way I run, in terms of aggressive, I hit people when I run and stuff like that. So, like I said, me and my mom, we lived in one part of LA that was rough, so my dad was like, no, we gotta move to a different neighborhood. Not as rough, still a little rough, but not as rough. So that first month or so we were in the neighborhood, I was probably around 6, 7 years old, so a little guy, and everybody's outside playing football, throw a tackle. So throw the ball up, everybody's on defense pretty much, whoever got the ball is the only offensive player, you basically gotta survive. To get to the end zone. That's your safe haven, is the end zone. Or throw the ball back up saying, I don't want it, don't tackle me. So I jump in right away, and I'm playing with kids that are half my, 15, 13 years old and bigger than me, and it was nothing. I wasn't scared of them. I mean, being little, I would have older brothers that beat me up all the time, dislocated my shoulder for fun, So I'll say that part of them being bigger than me didn't faze me. So I'm running up and down the field, breaking tackles, and then it's like freaking out, because they're like, who's this little guy? Where'd he come from? And why can't we not tackle this guy? Because I'm either outrunning them or running them over, and these guys, like, he's 15, 16 years old. And I guess one of the kids got fed up, so he got annoyed by me. Cause I wasn't showboating, nothing. I'd get the ball, run and score, or tackle somebody, get up, or run somebody over, get to the end zone. And I would never been a showboat guy, so he was getting annoyed by the fact that I was just doing a good job, doing my thing. He punches me in my stomach, knocks all that air out of my stomach, and I'm sitting there on the ground, can't breathe, and I know nobody because I just moved in the neighborhood, so I'm sitting there like trying to look for help, and I ended up crawling on my knees to one kid, like the biggest kid, like, help me. I had one tear cut in my eye, and he's just looking at me like, I can't do nothing for you, bro. So that was kind of like, okay, yeah, this is how this neighborhood's gonna roll. Okay, so from that point on, it was just, football, any other sport, it just came. It's like, okay, you gotta be ready for whatever. You don't know what might happen, and be ready to play.
At the start of his freshman year in high school, Ahman moved back to the place he was born, Omaha, Nebraska. He was quickly recognized for his educational and athletic talents that soon paved the way to his dream of becoming a professional football player.
Because like I'll say in high school, probably, actually right during the middle of my freshman year, that's when the light turned on in terms of me going to that next level. Me going to Nebraska, or going to college, not Nebraska or wherever I chose to go, or whoever wanted me, it clicked, a light turned on and said, if I have my grades where they should be, and I stay healthy from a playing, athletic standpoint, everything would just fall in place. So So I was like, I need to handle my grades. So, you know, it was up and down a few semesters, you know, right? It was some classes that were rough because I was getting moved up so fast because I was, like I said, I was an AB student, but then I was getting put in honors classes and accelerated classes, and someone was like, whoa, you know, so I had to tell them, look, that's way too fast. I'm like, that geometry right there, I don't know what that was. So just looking through some junk last year, spring cleaning, and found my senior report card. It was a 3.78, and I was like, oh man. I told my kids, I was like, I was like around 3.5.
Ahman's freshman year as a Nebraska Cornhusker set the pace for the success that followed him throughout his college experience.
My freshman year, you know, and from me talking, kind of knew that I had the confidence, and if I knew I could do something, I would do it. You know, it wasn't, you know, if I didn't, I would just ask a ton of questions. But same feeling I had coming from Los Angeles to Omaha playing football was that same confidence level, hadn't changed. And then going into Nebraska training camp that summer and coming out of training camp pretty much feeling really good about how my camp went, and the coaches then telling me, you know, because like I said, I wasn't a talker. I didn't really, I hung out with my buddies, but it wasn't like I was always, oh, I could do this, I'm faster than you, or that. I was never about that. I was always just hanging out, being a kid, you know, being a jock or being a football player, talking about sports, talking about video games, talking about movies, talking about girls, you know, so I wasn't really, you know, just always about me. I was just about just having fun, you know, being a teenager at that time. And so when it came to the time, my freshman year, Coach Solich, you know, brought me in his office. He was like, so, you know, you had a great two-a-day. You had a great camp, great freshman camp. You know, you pretty much learned everything fast, you know, and you got the playbook down. You know, we knew you had the ability, but now you choked. Now we actually saw it. So we're going to put it in your hands in terms of what you want to do your freshman year. You want a redshirt or do you want to play? And right away I said, Coach, look, I will punt, I will play linebacker, I will just do special teams all year long, but I'm playing my freshman year. I don't care where you want me at, I'll play there. And he's like, that's all I needed to know. I said, all right. I said, that it? So I'm playing my freshman year? He's like, yeah, you're not a redshirt. I'm like, pfft. I said, that was because that was one of my goals, was to play my freshman year and be in college 3 to 4 years and graduate within that time, or if it's somewhere where I came up and where I could leave early, you know, great. So freshman year, it was something. It was I can't explain it because it was like, it's one of them things that if you put forth the effort, I guess that the reward comes, because like I said, I was always a team player. No matter, I had guys that was in front of me at running back that started. You know, Lawrence Phillips was one of them. The guy Clinton Childs that I mentioned earlier in high school, he was one of them. That was ahead of me. Another guy that I met once I got there, Damon Benning, he was ahead of me. But the way I looked at it was, I'm like, man, we got all these good running backs. I was like, I don't want to be a defense that got to face this guy, and then this guy gets tired, then this guy gets tired, then this guy. Because we were all, except for Lawrence Phillips, the 3 running backs after Lawrence Phillips, we're all from Nebraska. We were all from Omaha. We were from the same city, just went to different high schools. So other than Lawrence Phillips, we were all in-staters. And so he was the only out-of-stater, and he's from California. So, but we were all big, fast, and when we had that helmet on, pissed off. That Nebraska had, we were not. So I thought of it like, man, I don't want to be a linebacker, because I know when Lawrence is done, then Clinton, he's going in, he's 6'1", 230. Then Damon, he's 5'10", 215. And I'm going in, I'm a 6 foot, 210 freshman that's hungry. You know, I'm ready to play college football and help my team win. And so that's how I looked at it. So, but it was weird how that season went for us. We started the season great. We started the first month 4-0, you know, and then right away Lawrence got in trouble, some off the field stuff, and then so he was out for a couple. He got suspended for about 5-6 games. Clinton was the next guy up to bat, and started 2 games. It was his senior year too, so he started 2 games. He goes out with a MCL sprain, and so he's out. Then Damon Benning, he starts 1 game, pulls his hamstring. And then now it's on me, and I'm the 4th back freshman now. And I'm starting him. But the thing about it, I've been playing the whole year. Because if you look at the record, you go back and do your research. We were we were averaging 50 points a game on people in 1995. Our defense was the #1 defense in college football, and our team overall has been voted the #1 team in college football history. So I got on the field, it was third quarter, we're up 49 points. So and the defense was beat up and battered. So it was like, just hold on to the ball and just do what I do. Run the ball very fast. So that's all I had to tell. So I've been playing all the way to my first game that I started, which was against Missouri. It was the 6th game of the season, my freshman year, and I started in that game. And it wasn't my first 100-yard game. I only rushed for 95 yards. So a lot of people think I went out there and, you know, had another 100 yards like everybody else did, but I didn't. On my first freshman game, I was for 95 yards, maybe had like 15 yards receiving and 2 touchdowns or a touchdown. But of course, they're like, what do you feel like you play your, starting your freshman year? I'm like, I've been playing the whole year. Did people realize I've been watching the games? I played in Oklahoma State, which was the first game of the season. I played in Michigan State. I played in all other 5 games. Ain't no difference. I mean, the only difference is starting the game and not starting the game is you get hit a little bit more. Yeah. That's it. So it was that freshman year was awesome. And then at the end of the year, we got, we win the Big 8, the last Big 8 championship of the year of the era. And then we going out in Tempe, Arizona, and we kick off in Florida Gators' butt and win a national title. So freshman year, I don't know if you could write in a movie. Pretty sure you could, but I'm glad I was in that movie because it was a good feeling to go down there and take care of business.
Ahman Green retired as a professional football player in 2011. He was involved in several nonprofit organizations, including his own, the Ahman Green Foundation for Youth Development. He is currently co-owner of the Green Bay Blizzard Indoor Football.
I'm co-owner along with 5 other guys. They're entertaining when we have meetings. They're funny, and then the funny thing is they're older than me, but they act younger than me. They're great guys, but yeah, it's just another thing. I kind of classify being the owner there. Like I don't really look at myself as an owner. I look at kind of like one of the consultants or coaches, because I go to practice once a week and watch. And the first year I was like, look, I just told everybody, look, I'm gonna just be in the background watching and observing, because I'm not one of them guys that, oh man, yeah, I played for 12 years and I know football and you don't know. I was like, man, this is your team. He coached them and he was a good guy. Last year they was like one game away from winning the whole championship, So it's a different team this year because IFL or indoor football is a little bit different. To change of turnover, it's kind of like high school and college. So every year you can have a whole new team. You just gotta learn to play together, and that's been my running theme, talking to them. But that is a part of something that I used to do. I give them advice and stuff like that, and I love it.
Ahman Green is a partner in the team, and his role is what he wants it to be. I like using him as a spokesman for the team because he's earned a very a good position in the community. Notice I said earned. He has worked hard to work for the Green Bay community. So Ahman Green is a partner. He's a financial partner. He's no better or worse on that end. But on the other end, he has a certain asset where he is a benefit on the football side, really on the football side. He's great doing commercials. But I do respect his privacy, and I want to make sure he understands that we didn't bring him aboard to exploit him. He brought him back because he's part of this community. He is a big part of the community. He's one of those kind of guys, when he walks in the room, he's in the room. And when he comes to practice, he doesn't have to say much, but you can see the players are more focused, they're more intense about what they're doing. Ahman Green is what they're all aspiring to try to be. And when you have a person who has done what he has done and what he has accomplished, yeah, the players become more focused. I played football for 20 years. I had very average ability. I worked very, very hard to get on the football field and play. The difference between Ahman Green and a person like me, he has, and notice I didn't say had, he has the physical gifts. A lot of people with that kind of physical gifts he had will just rely on their physical gifts. Ahman Green takes that physical gift and then he adds the intensity and the dedication and focus. And that's what makes him a great football player. And and he'll move that ethic into his private life and into his business. That's what makes him different than the average guy on the field.
Ahman wanted to give back to the community in a unique way, so he opened a D1 sports training facility in Green Bay. There he helps train aspiring athletes and individuals who want to improve their well-being.
I am co-owner of D1 Green Bay Sports Training. My partner in that is Billing Hospital, and we are basically a training facility that helps people and athletes. I say people are athletes, so it helps everybody become the athlete they want to be. Myself, Randall Cobb, AJ Hawk, we own, between three of us, we own three of them. I own one here, Randall Cobb owns one in Bowling Green, and AJ Hawk owns one in Columbus where he played college ball at. You know, and you got guys like Herschel Walker. You know, when I started seeing these names, I was seeing Peyton Manning, Herschel Walker, AJ Hawk, and I was like, I knew AJ. So I boom, saw him, I think one day in the street, or called him on the phone, like, how you like it? He's, man, I love it, man. And this is why I got into it, and then just looking at and watching testimonials on the website, I was like, I got to, you know. I made the phone call, called their number, and started talking about 2 years ago now, and we opened up back in October. And it's been good, and it's something like with me living here in Green Bay, I want to help out with the community, bring jobs, you know, make the community better by having something like this going around.
He is very easy to work with. He's not a normal co-owner being in the facility. He sits in our staff meetings. He engages with our programming. He'll talk to all of us like we are his co-workers, not like I'm Ahman Green, not I'm a big deal. He is a big deal, but he's so humble that, you know, working alongside of him just allows us to feel like, wow, we're working with Ahman Green. He invites people to his house. He is very open and loving, and I think that bleeds into our environment, creating it like a D1 family. It's a good atmosphere, music is blaring, and everybody's getting a good sweat. And it's people with the same type of either aspirations or the same athletic ability. Not saying everybody's gonna come in there like me or like guys I played with. No, it's gonna be. We have moms, we have soccer moms, we have stay-at-home moms that come in there and they're looking to hit their physical goal and lose some weight or get in this type of shape. Or we have athletes that come in there that want to get better, and we do sport-specific training. We do one-on-one training, strength training classes. And then we get them strong, we learn them, teach them how to stretch and become flexible so you don't get hurt. So working with Ahman and in this facility, I didn't really know anything about combine camps. I didn't know about some of the training modalities that we did because my background is more corporate wellness, not really sports training facility. So I've experienced all these young athletes coming in to learn the different drills that it takes to take your game to the next level. He has been here for all of those combine clinics, and he's helped all these athletes get better at their 40-yard dash. He's told them his experiences of how he got better, where he trained when he was their age. It was more like, hey, let's all meet at the track and we'll work on this. He's helped them get better with their vertical jump, their broad jumps, and just for me to see, these are how these kids get to that next level, and they're learning the tips and the tricks from a professional. In addition to him having all of his past, and there's present Packer athletes that come in here and just support him and are really present in our facility, and that means a lot to a lot of these young athletes, as well as the parents and the adults here. And it's only because he's here and he's still connected to the community of Green Bay and he lives in Green Bay and his presence is strong that it's gonna help our facility and his facility just grow and give back to the community that he essentially made his career in.
It's no secret that Ahman is a Batman fanatic.
It started when I was 12. When I was 12, that's when, in 1989, that's when Tim Burton directed Batman with Michael Keaton as Batman, Jack Nicholson as the Joker, Kim Basinger as Vicky Vale. And I already been a Batman fan up to that point, watching the old Adam West, bam, splat, boom, all on the screen. So I was already in, like, oh yeah, Batman, whoa! I go to see the movie, I'm like, Batman, yes! I'm like, I'm all over that. So it just stuck me. I don't know what it was at that time because I was 12. It didn't take much to sell me, but it stuck in my head literally. So I went to the barbershop when I got my hair cut that week and had the barber, I drew up a Batman symbol and I was like, can you put this in the back of my head, please? And he did. He cut it into the back of my head. And I didn't expect nothing to come from it in terms of, you know, that other than, oh, cool, you got a Batman symbol cut in the back of your head. You know, so when I went to practice, football practice, take my helmet off one time, and the coach is just like, Batman, you know? And then my teammates saw it, and then that's how my nickname, that's how I became. They just started calling me Batman from that point.
Everything he wears has Batman on it. It's got Batman 30, his number, on his license plates. And you know, I started thinking about that, and really what it comes down to is you look at Batman and you look at him, and Batman is not really the, you know, like you see Ahman Green on the field, you see Batman doing his complete scenario of fighting crime or whatever it is. But in reality, off the field, he's a different person, but he's still using the same focus. And he's still thinking along and planning along those lines like you watch Batman. And I see that correlation between the two of them. It's really kind of cool.
He also has a love for video games, movies, and hanging out with friends and family. Ahman has been married to Marie Green for 4 years, and they have 5 children.
You know, you meet somebody and you don't always get to know their family. Well, we've always gotten to know his family. We've had that opportunity to meet his children, to meet his wife, to have social gatherings. And so that's really a special character that a lot of people don't get the opportunity. Myself, you know, just sending pictures to my mom of, you know, hanging out with Ahman Green, or, you know, Packer players that come in to see him. You know, my parents are like, wow, that's a huge deal, because they're professional athletes, and they're good professional athletes. So I feel very fortunate to be a part of this team. I thank him for, you know, allowing me to go on this journey with them, because it is a family here, and we all work well together.
Beyond the field, Ahman's personable character outshines any trophy that can be awarded. With the opportunity to live anywhere in the world, Ahman chooses to make his home in Green Bay. His selfless actions continue to influence the community around him.
Players will shoot out on the first thing smoking right after our last game of the season. I remember we played, my first year here, we played Tampa Bay, and it was like 0 degrees on kickoff, -14 by the end of the game. And then we won the game, but we weren't in the playoffs. And the next day, I think our team meeting, the last team meeting of that day, I think it was Monday at around 12:30. Guys had flights at 1 o'clock. No lie, 1:15. I'm like, wait a minute, team meeting's at 12:30. How are you gonna even make the flight? But I figured it out. Green Bay Airport is not that big. And a lot of employees know us, so they know either we arrive real late or right on time, or just with carry-on. So they pretty much check us through from the jump. So that's how I figured out how they get to the plane so fast. So, you know, that, I was like, nobody's sticking around, you know. And for me, even from Seattle, I just, you know, I stayed in off season. But Seattle was a little bit different. It's a city. It's a lot more going on, you know. In Green Bay, yeah, to be honest, it's not a whole lot going on, but you make it what it is, you know. And I was always into my movies and my video games, so that's indoor activities, and it's cold in January, February, March, and so that kind of fits fine with it. And then as I lived here, doing events, you know, meeting people, business people, meeting friends here, and just everybody, meeting them from all different parts of Wisconsin, that's just made it easier and easier every off season as I met more and more people here and around. Like, you know, it's cool meeting them. And now it just gives me more of a reason not to leave. And there's no Packers here for about 6 months. you could take advantage of that, dude, you know, and, you know, just, and that's like the fans will love it, you know, and so that was the business part of me thinking like, man, these, you know, guys, they want to go, I understand they want to get out to the cold weather, but if you were successful where you worked, why leave that area? You know, my stepdad, who was he worked on airplanes, he was an engineer, aeronautics engineer, but he was a businessman too. And I remember we always did little stuff. I'll say he was a hustler. He always found little odd jobs for me and him to make money during Christmas time, to have a little bit more to spend for Christmas. And it's like, why are you gonna go somewhere where people don't know you to try to run a business? Try to run a business from where people know you. And I kind of thought about it. I'm like, this is a no-brainer. I was like, for now, I'm gonna stay right here. I mean, because for one, now I got friends, not just business acquaintances. I got people that actually I call my friends here. That makes it all the better. And I was like, trust me, this ain't no South Central. This is far from LA in terms of kids growing up and worrying about stuff and activities. So I'm like, it really doesn't make sense to go anywhere, you know, to be so fast to run.